You are about to complete the fitness assessment. You're presumed fit to participate based on your completion of the FSQ. You may reaccomplish the FSQ if medical concerns have developed since completion, but must do so prior to beginning the fitness assessment. If you experience injury or illness during the fitness assessment, you have the option of being evaluated at a medical treatment facility, but your test may still count. If the medical evaluation validates your illness or injury, your commander may invalidate the test results. If the test is invalidated, you will be required to retest within 5 days. At no time will a backdated Air Force Form 469 be accepted. Each component requires minimum performance. If for any reason you do not meet the minimum requirements, you are expected to complete the remaining components. Scores for all components are final. This is your push-up verbal instructions. Place your palms or fists on the floor. Hands will be slightly wider than shoulder width apart with your elbows fully extended. Your feet may be no more than 12 inches apart and should not be supported, braced, or crossed. Your body should maintain a rigid head to heel form. This is the up and starting position. Begin by lowering your body to the ground until your upper arms are at least parallel to the floor, elbows bent at 90 degrees. Then return to the up position, arms fully extended but not locked. This is 1 repetition. Your chest may touch, but not rest or bounce on the floor. If you do not come down parallel to the floor, the push-up will not count. Resting can only be done in the up position. You may remove your hands or feet from the floor or bridge or bow your back, but only in the up or rest position. Resting any other body part on the floor is not allowed. If resting occurs in the down position, the push-up portion of the test will be terminated, and your score will be based on the correct number of push-ups performed up to that point. Your breathing should be as normal as possible. Make sure you do not hold your breath. You have 1 minute to perform as many correct push-ups as you are able. Your counter will count the correct number of push-ups allowed. Your counter will not count the incorrect push-ups. Your counter will tell you what you are doing wrong and will repeat the last number of correct push-ups until you correct the error. The total number of correct push-ups in 1 minute is recorded as your score. This is your sit-up verbal instructions. Begin by laying face up on the floor or mat. Your feet may extend off of the floor or mat, but your buttocks, shoulders, and head must not extend beyond the mat. Bend your knees at 90 degrees with your feet or heels in contact with the floor at all times. Cross your arms over your chest with your open hands or fingers at your shoulders or resting on your upper chest. This is the starting position. When conducting sit-ups, any part of the hands or fingers remain in contact with the shoulders or upper chest at all times. If a bolted, non-portable toe hold bar is used, anchor your feet to the ground by hooking your feet or toes under the bar. Your heels must remain in contact with the ground at all times, and the bar cannot move while you perform the assessment. If a toe hold bar is not used, you may request the assessor to hold your feet with their hands or by putting their knees on your feet. The assessor may not anchor you by holding behind the calves or by standing on your feet during the assessment, as they could lose balance and step off. You may request an airman of the same gender to hold your feet, and that request must be granted. Let your monitor know if you need your feet held differently prior to beginning the assessment. From the starting position, raise your upper torso until your elbows touch your knees or thighs, then lower your upper torso until your shoulder blades contact the floor. This is 1 repetition. Your elbows must touch your knees or thighs at the top of the sit-up, and your shoulder blades must contact the floor or mat at the bottom of the sit-up, keeping any part of your hands or fingers in contact with your shoulder or upper chest at all times. The repetition will not count if your hands or fingers come completely away from the chest or shoulder, or if your buttocks or heels leave the ground. Additionally, you may not grab onto your shirt, as it makes it difficult to determine if you are maintaining proper contact. Any resting must be done in the up position. While resting, you may not use knees or any object to support yourself. If there is any resting other than the up position, the sit-up portion of the test is terminated, and your score will be based on the correct number of sit-ups performed up to that point. You have 1 minute to perform as many correct sit-ups as you are able. Your counter will count the correct number of sit-ups allowed. Your counter will not count the incorrect sit-ups. Your counter will tell you what you are doing wrong and will repeat the last number of correct sit-ups until you correct the error. The total number of correct sit-ups in 1 minute is recorded as your score. This is the 1.5 mile timed run verbal instructions. Prior to beginning the 1.5 mile run, you may complete up to a 3-minute warm-up. You will line up behind the starting line and will be instructed to begin running as I start the stopwatch. No physical assistance from anyone or anything is permitted. Pacing is permitted if there is no physical contact and is not a hindrance to other runners. You are required to stay on and complete the entire marked course. Leaving the course is disqualifying and terminates the test. Your completion time will be recorded when you cross the finish line, and you are required to complete a cooldown for approximately 5 minutes. If at any time you are feeling in poor health, you are to stop running immediately and you will be given assistance. This is the 2-kilometer walk verbal instructions. Prior to beginning the 2-kilometer walk, you may complete up to a 3-minute warm-up. You'll be directed to line up behind the starting line and will be instructed to begin walking as I start the stopwatch. You are to walk the 2-kilometer course as quickly as you can. You must not run, keeping at least 1 foot in contact with the ground at all times. No physical assistance from anyone or anything is permitted. Pacing is permitted if there is no physical contact and is not a hindrance to others. You are required to stay on and complete the entire marked course. Leaving the course is disqualifying and terminates the test. Your completion time will be recorded when you cross the finish line, and you are required to complete a cooldown for approximately 5 minutes. If at any time you are feeling in poor health, you are to stop immediately and you will be given assistance.